All right. Hello, YouTube. This is Aleczaender with Zoomer Content. Today we have brought on For the Ghost of the Camera. Say hello.
Hey, what's going on?
So, as most of you probably have heard or know, this is the guy that famously wrote this big paragraph about his problems with Nick Fuentes and a lot of criticism, a lot of things about Catboy stuff, Late Show, and other drama occurring within America First. And I thought I would address this because I found it on my server, and I thought that it was just kind of, in my opinion, I thought most of it was kind of stupid and cringe. And I've been seeing this a lot. You see this with RPG, you see this with Culture War Criminal, and I thought it needed to be addressed. I thought that I see these people that are like they're fanatics, and they put out a super chat, and they just get absolutely roasted by Nick, and then they're no longer a griper, and it's this big. It's kind of sad to see because um, it really isn't worth it to go like on the sidelines of anti-Nick or heavy criticism, especially over things that have already been addressed, right? But anyways, that's the topic. That's what we're doing here. So we'll get right into this. So for the ghost, tell me about yourself. So I heard that you were like a big super chatter for the past 2 years, something like that.
I don't know if that's my cue to speak. Was that the end of the question? I was actually still setting up recording right now, but I heard everything.
Uh huh.
And there's some things I guess I do agree with, but I definitely do see where you're coming from.
Mhm.
So a little bit about myself. Some people have been speculating that I'm some boomer, 50 years old, 30 years old. Just
Mhm.
for the record, I'm the same age as Nick. Just throwing that out there. That post I never actually intended to go viral, nor was it really meant to be behind Nick's back. Just to give a little context to all of this, I just feel that it's important to really say where that was actually made. Um, so that was made, I believe, the screenshot says April 2nd, 2022. And at the time, I believe Kai had indeed been banned off Discord, hence leaving his Discord server completely 100% unmoderated. Now, almost as soon as that occurred, that Discord server was absolutely flooded with just gay porn and lolicon porn, and I actually took it upon myself to establish another Discord server that is more or less pro Nick Fuentes, just by all rights and means. It just is. I thought that it was necessary to establish that because America First purports itself to be a Christian movement, and gay porn and lolicon porn are essentially not Christian. So you've got this spam that was just occurring, and people did indeed have problems with it. The spammers who are there, some of which are in your Discord server, um, they are just 100% obnoxious, completely without shame. So I just started this new server to kind of really rescue them. The reason why I kind of did this is because there was, in fact, a 14-year-old Christian who was in there, and I felt that him being subjected to all that was incredibly wrong. Consider it reverse grooming. Now, to your point, as far as people who are big super chatters, I've not been a big super chatter for 2 years. I actually first caught wind of Nick Fuentes in America First when he debated Arthur Schopper. Arthur Schopper had appeared at my university, California State University, Fullerton, down in Southern California in Fullerton. Arthur Schopper, I originally saw him because he essentially went down there when Milo was speaking. I couldn't get a ticket to Milo Yiannopoulos' event. He went down there and essentially said, okay, everyone just debate me. I didn't debate him. I actually thought that it was really awesome that someone was coming on campus with a Trump hat and just talking, because I understand Arthur Schopper is a neocon, and it was actually when I watched the Arthur Schopper debate with Nick Fuentes that I kind of deduced that Arthur Schopper wasn't really the best person. I thought it was decent that he admitted that we should not give foreign aid to Israel. I, of course, am of that opinion. I don't think we should be giving any foreign aid to anybody unless we're getting something substantially of value in return, and we're simply not getting that with Israel.
Yeah.
So that's
From
when I became a kind
Mind
of
if
a
I
fan of Nick
interrupt?
Fuentes. I did see him live when the Groiper War against Charlie Kirk was occurring. But to give complete context to that, there's actually a snippet when he turns on the Kanye West music, and I just couldn't hear anything, and I just had gotten annoyed, and I turned it off. But I was essentially saying, good job. I like what you're doing.
Okay.
As far as being a big super chatter for the last 2 years, that's just not the case. One time I actually was featured this year as being one of the top super chatters. That was just a complete accident. I don't really know what more to say about that. I don't really have. Oh, one last thing to your point. As far as turning against Nick, I don't believe I actually hold any real animosity towards Nick himself. I have some criticisms that I stand by and feel are rather valid. But, and to give an analogy to this, in the 2010s, popular streamer Wings of Redemption had his troll fan base headed by Sean Ranklin. Sean Ranklin essentially dedicated his entire YouTube channel to being anti-Wings of Redemption. I don't really consider myself as being Nick's Sean Ranklin. I don't think I have a reason to, and I don't think that's just in my best interest. I wouldn't waste my time doing that.
Okay. Yeah, I tried to interrupt you earlier, but you kept on going on. I
No,
was
thanks
trying
for
to
the
say
intro.
that I want to stay more on topic about everything else, um but yeah, my issue with you is that criticism of Nick, especially if it's productive criticism, is one thing, but these are things like in the screenshot I have
If you're
here.
talking, I cannot hear you.
You can't hear me? Hello? Yeah, that's not good. Uh, bruh.
I don't know what the hell is going on. I literally cannot hear a thing if you're speaking.
Yeah, that's cringe. Hello? You've got to be kidding me right now. Well, that would be why this dipshit talked over me. No offense if you can hear me. Okay, well,
I
he's
just shot you
DMing
a
me.
DM. I literally cannot hear a thing if you're speaking. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to adjust the audio.
Cannot hear audio. Check Discord settings.
All right, I found the issue. Apparently, somehow, as I was talking, my device became completely muted.
Did you fix it? I think that's a no. Because if he fixed it, he could hear me, and he can't hear me right now, so. Yeah, I know. It's on his end, not mine. My green bubble thing is lighting up, I guess, so. Hello? Damn. I want to get right into this debate, and I have to sit here with these IT issues. For a Zoomer, he's not very,
Test. Hello?
hello? Hello, hello, hello? Yeah, for a Zoomer, this guy has, not as good, IT skills, but, you know. I hate this shit on him, but I want to get into this. Hello?
Test. Hello? I'm sorry. I don't know what's going
Can
on.
you hear
I
me now?
totally hear you just fine, and then now I can't hear a thing.
Bruh. Dude. I have like an entire notepad sitting here full of shit I need to address. And this guy. It's like Good Morning Griper, all those people trying to speak to Nick, and they get up there and it's like nothing is happening. He can't hear them, they're muted, they can't hear Nick. Alright, let me see if he fixed it. Hello?
Oh, my Discord crashed, and I got a screenshot of that. Can I hear you? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? That's a no. His Discord crashed. Oh my gosh, dude. This is annoying. You've got to be kidding me. Hold on, let me check these DMs.
Okay, this is essentially a Hail Mary. I don't know what's happening. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you if
Yes,
you're talking.
I can hear you. It's on your end. I really want to have this debate, so I'll be pissed off if I can't have it. This is my final straw. Looks like Discord. Are the Groypers hijacking his computer? His Discord keeps
Oh,
on crashing.
okay, now I can hear the actual Discord app. I don't know if I can hear you. This is incredibly frustrating, by the
Hello?
way.
Yeah.
I'm not pulling anything. I have a
Yeah.
history and habit of getting fucked over by
You
technology. I
frustrated
don't
or
know
me
what's happening right
frustrated?
here.
Okay. Well. All good. Just try to figure out the problem. If you can hear Discord, then he's probably. Hold on. Let me bring someone in here and let me see if we can hear him. Just to make sure it's not like he muted me or something. Hello, Meltson?
Yo, what's good? Yo. Do you hear
Uh,
me?
I don't think he can. Okay, so
Uh,
it's 100% him. Well, shit.
I
All
see.
right, how's that? I'm on my third backup. Well, my backup. How's that? Is that better?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Alright. I'm
All right,
gonna.
well,
Wow.
that's gonna make for good content.
Hold on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that was, honestly, did not expect that to occur. Not to
No,
mention,
that
I
was
tried, and I was curious because I tried to talk. I kind of interrupted you, although you were going off a bit, and I was confused. I'm like, why is he still talking? Like, what is going on here?
no,
So, okay.
absolutely no. I kind of understood that I was speaking a bit, but I was trying to wrap it up because there was a lot to get
Yeah.
into.
All right. Yeah. I
I
want to get into this.
so
So.
so just for the record, I was trying to initiate my recording. I cannot record on my end, otherwise Discord will just 100% crash. It crashed on me. I sent you a
Yeah. No.
screenshot.
No. It's all good. I'm recording. So we'll be
All
fine.
right.
Uh. So okay, so your past is you were a super chatter, and you weren't like a big AF guy, but you were kind of like you gave off the vibe of being a big AF guy, and everyone assumed you were like a fanatic, but you weren't, or
Yeah,
whatever.
one
Okay.
common criticism I receive is that I'm a wignat. I don't think I am.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what I would call you to be honest, but that's where I'm getting into next. So firstly, I'm gonna talk about loyalty and AF and what my issue is with you. So I think that's what I tried to do earlier, and then you couldn't hear me. So when it comes to any movement, any leader in history, okay, productive criticism is one thing. But when it's things that we've already addressed before, when it's things that make absolutely no sense, or when it's things as dumb as Nick showing up late, it's kind of a nuisance. This is the same kind of shit that RPG says. It's the same shit that CWC says. It's the same shit that every Wignat, that every anti-AF person says. And you're spewing the same narrative. It's not productive. What is saying that Nick Hunt with a capo is going to fix or change, okay? And in the screenshot, he said joking about being a homosexual is the first step to being a homosexual. And people always say, oh, this is proof that he was homosexual. But if you really think about it this way, as Christians, first of all, we're very forgiving of other people. And when it comes to homosexuals or anyone that wants to turn from their ways, and they turn to Nick Fuentes or anyone, and they accept that, and they turn them to good, like Milo, for instance. And look at Milo, he's changed big time. And you apply this to someone like Catboy Cammy, who unfortunately didn't change. That's kind of the tactic there. That was kind of the big tactic, and that's why there is these small jokes about Nick being a Catboy, whatever. And to be honest, I don't know why this whole stigma about joking about being gay makes you gay. I was always taught when I was younger that joking about being gay makes you seem less gay because you're less tense about it. You're not like paranoid that, oh no, he's totally being gay, he must be gay. Like you're not gay, so it's like more comfortable to talk about with Nick. You know, so it's small things like these that make no sense. Another thing I want to mention is that the thing about Nick and like him being late to the show, or I don't know, some of the other things people say. People do the same exact thing. You look at any other leader in history, you look at Putin, you look at Trump, you look at any political leader, they have the same tactics in terms of being late to a show or having these weird small things about them that might be annoying, but it's part of their personality. And if that makes Nick a, um, if you countersignal Nick because of those reasons, I think it's just stupid. I think it's all very stupid, and you come off as being a wignut or anti-AF, and the same thing happened with CWC with RPG. It started with small criticism, and it developed into them calling, indirectly saying that Nick is a homosexual or that Nick is, hanging with catboys or whatever they're trying to say. It's not prayer for the movement. And if you really are AF, if you really want America to become this based empire Christian nation as we intend to, you will need a figurehead, and there is no one else except Nick Fuentes. And if you want Nick to win, you have to support him all the way. Again, it's one thing to be critical of him, and preferably in private too, because if you're out in public saying all this shit about Nick, that doesn't look good for him. And I mean, to me, it's common sense on how to be a proper loyalist. So, I mean, you've stated before, you said something along the line of, you want Nick to win, and you want the best for America first, and then you're just giving criticism. But, like, I have to ask, what is the constructive criticism of your counter-signaling? Like, what do you expect to get out of this by saying this this complete total slander about him?
Okay, I think you have some well-reasoned rationale behind that. So I'll go ahead and try and address a little bit of it. With regard to the Late Show, I think that critique is actually somewhat valid because, I mean, all the people within the Cozy chat, I mean, to what range are we to assume that they are Nick Fuentes' loyalists? I mean, do we think that there's any leftists there who are watching him for the purpose of just shitting on him? Would they not just get banned immediately by the chat? I understand that Right Wing watches a channel and he, or whoever uses that channel, or operates it, excuse me, will keep up with Nick, and maybe they watch every single show of his. But as far as the Late Show, realistically, it's kind of hard for me to recommend Nick's show, America First, to them when he doesn't start on time. And to say that he starts, well, I mean, it's a little more than late. It's 3 hours. And to a certain extent, this is going to affect some people. Now, as far as joking about being gay, that is a whole can of worms that we can discuss right now, because on the subject of Kami, he was very recently counter-signaling against America First and Nick Fuentes, and depending on your for the record, I'm making this this statement not based off of actually watching him. I'm actually basing it off of what he said in chats, namely the Kai Clips Discord. There's quite a bit of back and forth between me and him. We essentially literally flex on each other. Look, I know how it sounds, but he essentially posted his biceps saying flexing on the haters. I took that as essentially a very dig at me, essentially saying, not necessarily at me, but he's essentially stating, oh, you don't get to have an opinion if you're physically weak. And for the record, I actually challenged him to a boxing match, and he backed out of it, just on that note. But you said that joking about being gay is not, that the slippery slope to becoming a homosexual or being homosexual, wherever you stand as to what. Not. Yeah, I'm not so sure that I agree, actually, because I think that the joking, I think that there's a pretty definitive line between being straight and then joking. I myself, I don't think I would really joke and go that far. But that's just me, everyone has a different sense of humor, so I'm not really sure that I can really touch you there because, I mean, perhaps that's just a sense of humor. And I'm not even insinuating that, oh, well, maybe he just has an extremely gay sense of humor. Not even that. Nick jokes about some things that I don't know that I would joke about. I'm not even talking about the racism part or whatever. And I'm not even trying to create that argument. I'm just throwing that out as an example. I don't think that I'm really all that similar to CWC and RPG because I don't know that I necessarily subscribe to their constant reporting of Nick Fuentes, because I think Nick actually touched upon a very good point that conservatives have a habit of when good news gets released, they will simply spin it into a negative, which I think is actually a completely fair take. When America First is a Christian movement, okay, I don't really know if there's all that much room in it for homosexuality. And for the record, I actually do have homosexual friends who, I mean, I just grew up with. They're cool, you know, they've treated me well and I treat them well. So I absolutely do 100% get the argument that you're creating, or rather presenting here, that you can disagree with the sin, but love the sinner. I find that to be the case. But when you're the leader of a movement, and there's a couple of instances. It's not just hanging out with Catboy Kami, okay? I mean, I'm not really sure what to make of the Discord channel he created. He said on stream that he was hacked, and then
as a joke, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm not so sure that I would really endorse spreading essentially pornographic,
there was no
insidious
NSFW
images
in those channels. It was, like I said, mostly jokes. Also, another reason why Nick jokes about.
Well, I'm gonna have to push back on that because I know for a fact one of the images, you have a gentleman's face wearing cat ears, just absolutely panting. I mean, okay, it wasn't porn; it was cropped porn.
Okay. Again, back to my original statement, it's irony. But as I was saying, another reason Nick is a joke about the whole gay thing and, you know, guys only, is all sorts of shit on e-girls and e-thoughts, because they just want all the attention. And to piss them off, it's also another tactic of, you know what I mean? It's more complicated than that, but it really is just a joke. And if you're very tense about it, if you're very like, oh no, like, you know, this guy is gay, he said this or that, it just comes off as more sus, because someone that's unironically gay would be very self-conscious about gay jokes because it might, you know, reveal themselves. You know what I mean? That's another way to look at it too. And I mean, there's 100 ways you look at this. Are you trying to say that Nick is gay? Like, what are you trying to say here with this? What's the point in going deep into this or any of this?
I'm just asking a fair question of really, I suppose if Nick ever watches this, I don't know that he would, but you know, this is going to definitely make some waves. I would just say, what was the point of making that Discord channel? Okay, for jokes, sure. You mentioned that the joking is a dig at really women in general. I don't really disagree with a lot of his points as far as women and how they are. They are how they are, and it is indeed a problem. It just is.
Nice.
And I think that it's. I mean, I really don't consider myself all that much of a simp. I mean, if you're going to be a healthy male, you should be healthily pushing back. But I don't necessarily believe or subscribe to your assertion that the proper remedy to that is making homosexual jokes. Honestly, ignoring them is quite effective.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I mean, that's probably the biggest red pill out of any red pill is the woman question. So I would say that all of these deep tactics that are being used against them is imperative. But, you know, I mean, I don't know. You also said that for a leader to be hanging with the sinners to try and change their ways is uncommon or unpopular or something like that, correct? Well, what about Jesus Christ? Because Jesus Christ did exactly that, and all of those quote-unquote sinners became, you know, his disciples. So, I don't want to take words out of your mouth, but I mean, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to say that Nick is Jesus either. But, you know, he's kind of, you know, carrying on what Jesus did, and he's turning, or through Jesus Christ, he is bringing people over to Christianity and helping them out. So, I mean, that's how you got to look at it. I know that Nick doesn't have a girlfriend. I know that Nick, and I already explained this too. This is all just one big shit on the WQ, the e-girls, the e-thoughts. At least in my opinion, that's my take and that's my outlook on all of it. Because there isn't really any alternative when society is broken, and society is broken. So, um, anyways, so that's kind of my take on all of that. And
Well, I would like to respond to
yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah. Go ahead and respond.
Okay. No, I don't feel that. I don't really feel any, feeling this probably isn't even a word, but disingenuousness from you. I don't feel that you're putting words in my mouth. I actually appreciate the dialogue that we're having here because I think that it offers some much needed clarification for where I stand.
Yeah.
I'm like I said, and I honestly hope that someone is understanding what I'm saying when I claim that I'm not Nick's Sean Ranklin. But I think it is quite important if you are the leader of a Christian movement called America First, that you don't really call a lot of attention to homosexual tendencies. I don't think it's healthy. I think, well, I mean, I'm straight, and I'm just not gay or anything like that. I'm just not. I don't think it's really safe for life per se. And for the people that are homosexual who might be listening to this, or who may listen to this in the future, or who I suppose anyone who just questions their sexuality, just I would implore that you find God and just seek healthy habits. There's something else that I wanted to touch on. Essentially, yes, Jesus's really association with people who are not completely Christian and of God. I think that the association with sinners is important, and I don't necessarily disagree with the claim that it was a good thing to hang with Catboy Kami and try and convert him. But he's not really a genuine person. I don't know how Nick could have, again, I don't know the timeline of Nick having seen what Catboy Kami was doing. I don't know whether that was before the Hangout stream or after. I just don't know, and I don't really care enough to research it because then I'm going to be essentially forced to look at these disgusting images of Catboy Kami with dildos in his mouth and all that kind of crap. Right. But someone who's doing that, if they're doing it for money or if they're doing it because they like it, whatever. I wouldn't associate personally. I'm not even sure how you would begin to reach out to them, because they seem so, messed up in the head. And for the record, it's not limited to Catboy Kami posing with those images. He outright admitted to fucking someone who's transgender, because I know this is going to be posted on YouTube. I want to use YouTube safe words. He outright admitted to that, and it's to my understanding that he admitted it without shame. Based on my interactions with him in the Kai Clips Discord, he seems to honestly hold some regret as to that, and perhaps as to his overall homosexual tendencies. So for that, I sincerely pity him. But I don't actually think that Nick. I think that Nick is probably the best person that we should be throwing into the Oval Office, and America First should be the replacement for the Republican Party. I hate the Republican Party. They double back on everything that they say. They're duplicitous, and you can't trust them. Nick was correct when he said that having a false ally is worse than a direct enemy.
Yeah. Right. Is that all of your response, or?
Somewhat.
Okay. Yeah, all I have to say to that is, I think everyone can agree that Cammy is a degenerate, but people target Nick for this guy, and I think that's kind of unfair, entirely. And I think even if half of those allegations were true, I think even then, okay.
Which allegations are we talking about? Because it's not a question of if they are true. They are true. He did have sex with someone transgender.
No. I meant like with Nick and whatever people are saying. It's not even that bad. Hanging with Catboy Cammy, whatever. Even if it was just to be friends, even if there wasn't like a an agenda to make him a better person behind it, I think it still counts that they're friends, and he wasn't. I think that I don't know everything behind the scenes of Kappa with Cammy, but I do know that Nick was trying to change his heart, and I do know that they were making heavy progress, and it didn't go very far because I mean, as you said, maybe he's just too far gone. I mean, I don't know. And, that's between Cammy and whoever it is. Do I really care? No. Like I said earlier, the main issue with all of this is people take this huge situation, which is so simple, and they turn it into this whole thing about Nick is a cat boy and he's gay, and there's a channel, and it all matches up, and there's like fake screenshots of him liking stuff on Twitter, or maybe it was like an accident, or it was out of context, and they blend it all in and say this is concrete evidence that Nick is gay, and then they throw in the fact that he's not dating anyone, and it's I think to me it's really stupid, and it's a very desperate attempt to make him look gay, and that's all I care about in terms of all the other bullshit with whether Cammy is not a bad or good person. He's totally irrelevant. I mean, if Cammy was like the face of the movement, or he was like an HR, or had massive influence, okay, maybe you have like quarter of a point there, but he's kind of long gone, and I'm not sure what the take is on him anymore. But there is more than just that. So you also said in the screenshot about Nick defending Mexicans and saying they don't harbor anti-white hatred, and you said that that's laughable and disproven. So my question to you is, what's the point? Do you not want Hispanics in the movement? Do you what's your point there?
No problem. So real quick before I talk about, I think that's point number 2 as far as my screenshot that got posted everywhere. Before I touch into that, I don't think it's at all fair to hold Nick responsible for Cowboy Kami's actions. Kami is really, I mean, his handle on Discord is Lolly Sock. So that's just kind of how I know him. I was very surprised to find out that it was Kami, and when I found out, I just thought that it was hilarious. Anyway, to hold Nick accountable for Kami's actions, that's unfair. Kami is his own person, and Nick does not have Kami under his thumb all the time. And Nick has his own things going on. With regards to Nick not having a girlfriend, I actually sent Nick a super chat saying, don't enter the dating market for 3 important reasons. Number 1 was that would actually fan the flame further as to whether Nick cares about being a virgin or not. I 100% believe Nick completely when he says he doesn't care that he's a virgin. I just believe him on that. Here. So hold on. Number 2 was that the girl, whoever he dates, might turn on him and just kind of go crazy and, honestly just get a hold of the America First account, Sasha movement, whatever, and just go nuts, trying to screw him over. That's a very valid thing to worry about because, the women are kind of crazy. And number 3 was that doing so would actually reward the current dating market that turns men, and I literally said, quote, into weak cucks, i.e. the debater Destiny. I don't like how Destiny brags about banging all sorts of women. And this criticism, I actually would further, I would increase it to criticizing Gavin McInes, because as far as I know, Gavin actually, he continues to brag about having orgies when he was younger, and that's disgusting, okay? So I don't actually have I don't have anything to say as far as Nick being an incel / virgin, whatever. I think that his stance is on that is completely fair and warranted, and it's probably the right move. As to people who are saying, "Oh, Nick's a virgin," whatever, I don't care about that. I think that it's actually quite healthy. You should be a virgin before you're married. So. And then you mentioned the Mexican question as far as do I want Hispanics to be in the movement or not? Well, I'm actually Hispanic. I'm half Mexican. I think more so than Nick. I think Nick said he's a quarter. He mentions Italian and white. I'm straight up half Mexican, I believe, a quarter white, and then maybe something Lebanese. I don't know. I need the 23andMe test done. I haven't done that yet. But, I mean, I'm here, and I honestly do consider myself America First. I'm not anti-Nick, really. I'm not anti-America First. I'm here in this debate, but I'm trying to essentially steer clear from the accusations. that I'm completely anti-Nick, or that I published that I made that post for the purpose. Well, I understand that it says I'm counter-signaling Nick for the following reasons. Honestly, maybe counter-signaling was the completely wrong word. Criticizing might be more accurate, but I mean, I will still defend Nick by and large against. I mean, who's the real alternative? You know,
no one.
Lenient conservatives. I am not going to ever vote left wing. That's just insane. But the reason, and to get back to the Mexican question, it's because I live in Los Angeles, California. You know, it's awful here. You absolutely 100% notice the anti-white perspectives that seems everyone, including white people, has. Just everyone hates white people. I'm Hispanic, but I mean, I'm not really dark per se. Depending on who you ask, I'm white, I'm Hispanic, I'm mixed, whatever. I have truly been on both sides of the accusations, calling me, Pablo Taco or whatever, or a Nazi. Honestly, white boy. I've heard them all, and I'm of the opinion that I'm not just going to blindly hate white people. I think that's completely antithetical to what America is about. Nick was right when he said that America was founded by white people. It just was. And we're not going to undo the wrongdoing that's been done to our country by discriminating against white people or making them second-class citizens, which you can effectively say that they are. Okay, they are the one race that you can discriminate against in this country. But the reason why I really stand by my point is because you just notice on the day-to-day the anti-white tendencies that Mexicans have. It's a meme that white people can't handle salsa, and I've made various claims to people who are, I made various statements to people who are close to me, just being completely honest about the anti-white rhetoric that is so prevalent within this country, that is so prevalent within Los Angeles, California, which is why California is the way that it is. It's just horrible. I think that there's a lot of day-to-day evidence you can point and view at. For instance, it is incredibly common for when you have, a white person and you have two Spanish speakers, whether or not they're Mexican, Guatemalan, whatever, Hispanic, they will switch to speaking in Spanish to essentially talk openly against the country, against the white person that is in the room, and really just being completely 100% racist. It's just a fact. There is a large amount of evidence to support my claim that there's a lot of anti-white sentiment that Mexicans, Hispanics, South Americans, illegal immigrants, they absolutely harbor it against white people. It's almost indisputable.
I mean, I'm not Hispanic, I'm white, so I don't know as much as you do on this topic. Like I said earlier again, my main issue is the whole, like you said at the beginning, countersignaling Nick, and it became this big thing. You've said more stuff about Nick before. I don't have the screenshots, but I've just heard. But in terms of the actual question,
I gotta address that real quick. For the record, I never anticipated that screenshot would ever make it out of the Discord. If I had it my way, that Discord would have absolutely just been nuked because of all the gay and lolicon porn that was spammed there.
Yeah.
And you better believe that the people who are sharing the screenshots, not all of them, but a lot of them, just absolutely 100% affiliated with all the lolicon and child porn spam. It's not a good look. I've even seen screenshots on Gab when I sent the image of Catboy Kami holding the dildo, posing with it in the dress, with lolicon imagery behind him, where I say Nick's bro is this. That actually was really more so a criticism of Kami, because Kami, again, like you said, is just is a degenerate. I would say irredeemable.
Look,
I never wanted it to inflate to something like this. I was in the Bookcat Discord when I first saw the screenshot posted, and my first thought was, oh crap, we're going to get into this. I know that looks bad, because counter signaling, and I'm there in Bookcat. I immediately got booted from that Discord. But I never went on a crusade against Nick. You look at if I hope I can get the YouTube channel back, because the YouTube channel I actually initially had for the Ghosts Not the Cameras, where I posted clips and other various content. You look at the videos that I posted; they were very pro Nick. My initial goal was to simply report Nick as he was, because I disliked how the YouTube algorithm portrayed him. You look at the Associated Press video of him; he's literally like mid-sentence. He just has a dumb look on his face. They pulled a Donald Trump where they take a picture of him speaking and like he has a funny face because he's saying a word, and they're trying to absolutely control the narrative against him. I was trying to change that, and by and large, it was working to the point where I actually noticed my YouTube channel name showing up in the YouTube search algorithm. But I never went on a crusade against Nick, and to assert that's just false. And I'll go ahead and maintain again, the use of the word countersignaling, probably not the best word. Criticizing would be better, because overall, Nick and America First are the best solution for this country. But I think that my concerns are valid. That's all.
Okay. Well, look, it's one thing to criticize a Groyper general, a friend of Nick, a former friend of Nick, as long as you don't pull a Stu Peters and do it at AFPAC, okay? As long as it's not a big thing where you're shitting on an asset, or at least someone important to AF, you should know that. But the minute you go against Nick, the minute you go against the organizer of it all, or associate any of this stuff with him, or you start silencing on the narratives of Wignats and anti-AFers alike, you're crossing a bit of a boundary there, kind of like what I said earlier, and that's the main issue here. Also, I want to mention that, if you don't mind kind of sticking more to the point, you do kind of go off a little bit, and I don't want to prolong this. I do only have 40, 50 minutes of time left. I do have to go.
Sure.
So,
okay.
In 50 minutes. But, that's the main issue here. And if you really are a big Nick fan, you're a loyalist to America First, you believe in all the values, and you would almost like a bullet for Nick, then great. But the way you've been expressing that recently, at least in the past month or two, has not really shown that. And when it comes to disloyalty in AF, it's a big deal, because we're a team. We're a brotherhood. We're all brothers here, and we're all working towards one goal. And to achieve that goal, it requires unity. Now, I know you're not like a general or like some, HR, you're just a super chatter. But the last thing we need is disunity. The last thing we need is dissent in order to take down the deep state, right? And so a lot of these people, some people do it over super chats. They get shit on by Nick, and they're like, oh, I'm no longer gonna be loyal to this guy. This guy just shit on me, or some people just do it because they, I don't know, they made a few criticisms, like kind of like what you did, and then they just abandon everything. People need to realize that no one is going to be perfect. No one is perfect. Only Jesus Christ is. And to expect this high standard from someone who already is nearest to perfect we can get is honestly being taken for granted. And if people could just all unify behind what we already have, instead of these small, tiny things that have been done, or just random false allegations and slander alone, I think would be far more better off. And so, I mean, I'm kind of glad that you're not gone off the same route that RPG and CBC has, but like I said, it's just all of this needs to be addressed. But back to number two, in regards to the whole Mexican thing. I mean, yeah, while I do agree that most of these minorities shouldn't be the face of the movement, they shouldn't be the ones representing the movement. Nevertheless, loyalty is loyalty. I actually had a recent conversation with someone where someone said that they would prefer a, someone that was insanely pro-Nick, but like, a backstabbing atheist or whatever, Jewish atheist, whatever you want to call them, over someone that's anti-Nick and they're like, what we're looking for, Anglo-Saxon, Anglo-Saxon, whatever you want to call it, because loyalty is what's going to get us far. It's not going to be this cultural dissent over, again, random bullshit that's at the smallest of concerns. But But like I said, number two is not the most. I don't know, like the most about that argument as much, and him saying that Mexicans aren't anti-white. I mean, most of my Hispanic friends are actually very based. They're very, they love America, they love our culture, they love our people, and maybe it's because they're Hispanic. They're not like the Aztec types or what. I don't even know the term. I don't know if people still call them Latino, Latina. Like I said, I'm not from that
Yeah,
area of
you
the
get into that
world.
whole thing. It gets really stupid quick.
Yeah, all I know is that those who come from Portugal and Spain and that area of Europe that is very Mediterranean, all of them are very based, and maybe a handful of those who are native to Central South America are also like they're kind of, I can see why they might be anti-white, anti-AF, but if they're loyal to Nick and they're loyal to AF, and they're not against the message of AF, they're not against maintaining our cultural framework and our cultural traditions and heritage, then there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, why would you reject that support, and why would you go against those kind of people? But
All right. You took. I don't know if you had if you wanted to wrap up that last point real quick, but I mean,
yeah,
I
that
have
was my
to really
wrap
push
up.
back on it. No, no worries. I have to push back on that last point a little bit because it sounds like you're starting to make the argument that you want to really appease the median voter. And I don't know if you were following along. I think I don't know if it was actually you who uploaded the conservative Twitter space where the conservative people from DC are saying that in order to really gain
No, I'm not saying
more
pander to the
voters.
minorities. I'm saying if a
Yeah. Okay.
minority wants to support AF, then let them. To like reject their support is just stupid. And if that results in a large portion of minorities that support whites and AF or whatever, um, then I think that's completely fine. Again, I mean that's just more manpower, and if they're loyal to Nick and they're loyal to our ideas, then that will help us get our message across. And it's the same with women, so long as they're not politically involved or they're getting their hands dirty, if you know what I mean. But that's the policy, and a lot of people, not saying this is your opinion, but a lot of these people that are straying away from AF are saying shit like, oh, AF is now turning more into a minority movement, and you get all these Hispanics running around, and it's like, not really. I mean, I would say that there's still a good majority of white people in AF. Whatever the stigma is, it's kind of stupid. But no, I mean, again, if they're all loyal to us and they support our ideas, there's nothing wrong. Obviously, if they're against their ideas and they're infiltrating and they're subverting the AF movement, okay, well, yeah, get rid of them. They're disloyal at that point. They're traitors to our ideas, but that's not what is going on at all. None of them are subverting the movement. I'd say 95% of them are about as based as me or you. But I want to move on to the next question on the screen.
Well, all right. Before we do that, you brought up to 2 points that I somewhat disagree with.
What?
Well, I mean, you were making granted, you weren't saying that I was saying that we should be excluding minorities from America First. I would identify a clear difference between pushing back on anti-white rhetoric from minorities.
Uh-huh.
There's a difference between that and then outright rejecting anyone of really any skin color who would be supporting America First. I would never suggest that anyone do the latter. But as far as the former, as far as continuing to purport all the serious anti-white hatred that really the Hispanics have by and large, you should be doing that. I mean, absolutely, you should be defending white people and not demonizing them over and over again. Now, to your first point, as far as loyalty, with regard to was it RPG TV or Red Pill?
Yes, Red Pill
Gaming. Yeah, Red Pill Gaming. As far as what he and I think CWC have been doing, I don't think that I've been desiring a lot of schisms within America First and the movement that's going on. I know right now there's something I don't know, something going on between Nick and Jaden. I'm assuming it's really nothing, but rumors and drama are really not beneficial for America First, regardless of who they're about. I don't believe I was outright, as you said, slandering Nick whatsoever. I think that all of my criticisms were rooted in just outright fact and experience and my experiences with Cowboy Kami. But the big bulk of my concerns with regard to Cowboy Kami were the fact that it really seemed that he was not willing to ever become Christian from the get-go. But more to your point, as far as schisms, and it really does seem that a large portion of America First has a really bad habit of being incredibly quick to turn on potential allies. I have to bring up Michael Alberto because he's the one who hosted the Madiker and Nick debate. Right. Whether or not you agree with whoever won, I'm getting at the absolute backlash that was completely unwarranted that Michael Alberto received, because I think a significant portion of the outcome of that debate was independent of Michael Alberto. It was his first stream. It was his first large debate stream. He was literally dealing with so much. I'm a moderator on Michael Alberto's Cozy channel. Cozy was just absolutely 100% swamped with traffic. I had 3 streams open. 2 of them kept crashing. I had 2 streams feeding into 2 different headphones. That way I could constantly listen to the talk. But after following the debate, Michael was just he was just getting way too much unwarranted, I want to say critique, but that's really not the right word to use. I want to say just hate. And he really didn't do anything wrong. He hosted the debate. I mean, you think he took a side?
I think the issue is he was incompetent, and I don't care if it was his first debate. This is Nick Fuentes, and this is frickin' Mataker, whatever the hell his name is. Madiker? Okay. Yeah, this is a huge debate, and this is the guy hosting it. And, I feel like if you're in that mindset, you have to take it seriously. And I think the issue with the debate is I think Nick won because all Mataker was doing was just throwing insults and trying to roast him and trying to, which is totally irrelevant to the point that Nick was making. Nick and his generals are being swatted, they're being attacked, harassed, slandered. I was slandered at one point horribly when I was really active with gaming communities and whatnot, but they're being slandered, they're being swatted, and one of the only ways, aside from telling the police, oh, these guys are swatting me, is to take down their source of entertainment, because they're doing this for entertainment, they're doing this for value, and I think that was the main debate, and Mataker was in the wrong. And so Mataker obviously can't use facts or can't use actual defenses, but insults, which was what he was good at doing throughout the entire debate to try and derail Nick. Anyway, what the point I'm making is that Michael did nothing to organize the debate. There was no structure, there was no system. Usually with debates with Nick Fuentes, there's usually questions that are asked, they go back and forth, and if one interrupts the other or vice versa. There's a bunch of rules, and this was more. And Nick is good at blood sports. Nick is good because Nick doesn't lose his temper, he doesn't get emotional. He's very good at keeping his pace and staying on the topic. But there was no organization, and so even though all the gripers knew that Nick won, all these other thousands of people watching who are probably more leaning towards Pataker's side to see this total disorganization and just see this two guys going at it.
The viewers who were watching were leaning towards Madiker?
No.
If you looked at...
No.
I misunderstood what you were saying then.
No. I said the viewers that were watching that were leaning. I didn't say they were. I said the viewers that were leaning in the chat.
Okay.
It's a chance to bring them in. And when you don't use the opportunity to try and do that, again, I think I do agree that it is on Michael. Now, I'm not going to ruin his life over this problem, but you have to face the facts, and there's going to be backlash for incompetently managing that debate, and unfortunately, he's going to get shit on for the next couple of days, weeks, probably just a few weeks, and then it's done for. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He's not getting fired, but go on. You can respond.
I was going to say, my reasonable follow-up to that would be, who do you think should have hosted the debate?
If not him, well, who hosted the last debate? I mean, my philosophy is that if something worked before, then just keep doing it again until it doesn't work anymore. So
Well, the
I
person who
mean,
hosted the last debate, I'm assuming you're referring to Nick and Destiny. Well, that was Ethan Ralph. And if
oh yeah, and
you're,
he's biased. Well, who was before
well,
Ethan Ralph then?
no, I wasn't even getting at potential biases. I don't really
Well,
have anything against Ethan
yeah.
Ralph. But what I'm getting at is that Ethan Ralph and Medicare had, well, beef. And to expect, I wouldn't even really call it a debate. I was going into it knowing it was just going to be a blood sports, and then it would go on to be just an absolute shit show.
Hmm.
Which it was.
Yeah.
Well,
Look, you know what? I agree.
with regard to that, I think expecting that it would have been a debate, um, I don't want to say it was foolish, but that would have been misguided because we saw when Ethan Ralph confronted Medicare. Medicare just straight up opened up well, that stream. I think that was back in maybe February, if not January. I'm not sure, but he essentially calls Ralph a rage pig, and to expect that Medicare would not have gone well all out from the very get go. I think that you should have seen that coming. I did. I mean, I'm not even being facetious when I say that. I knew that it was going to be nasty. I've maintained before the debate, and I super chatted this to Nick, that the debate was completely unnecessary. Again, and I've said this many times.
Unnecessary?
Oh yeah, no, I
Why?
don't think. Well, do you? Hold on. Before I address that, and we get into whether or not false DMCAing is valid or not,
Okay.
I prefer the timeline in which Medicare got his cozy channel. He streamed for what, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, or he does his end of the month wrap up where he just talks about various crap on the internet. I think that would have been preferable and more beneficial to Nick and to furthering cozy than what happened now. And I think you can somewhat determine who won the debate based off of the traffic that Cozy received afterwards. Now, I was taking a look at Nick's stream numbers for the streams after that. I don't know that they actually went up at all. I think Nick, I'm not sure what his highest stream ever on Cozy was. I want to say maybe 8,000 or 10,000. I'm not sure. I would defer to what the actual facts are. I'm not trying to,
I think it was
promote as
12,000, if I'm not
12. Okay.
mistaken.
All right, that sounds fair. Yeah, the streams that he was doing after, I think they maxed out at some 7,500. Not really all that significant, not all that much traffic. And the streams leading up to the debate were maybe 6,900 and something. So he didn't really pull a lot of Medicare's audience. Whether or not you would expect to pull these, maybe you would consider them biased viewers, people who are fans of Medicare. Um, I don't know that Nick won. I don't know that false DMCAing is the way to go. And perhaps I hold a bit of bias to this, considering I run a clip channel. And leading up to the debate, Nick was saying that he would be on the lookout at anyone streaming or posting clips. That kind of worried me, and I had voiced my concerns to Nick's chat, and I was reassured. Well, he wasn't really referring to you, more so the people who are outright counter-signaling him. And Nick's chat, really, a lot of Nick's fan base was aware of the fact that I was posting Nick in sincere good faith on YouTube. He makes really good political commentaries that I think are worth uploading, some of which I actually got striked for, which I have no regrets. But I don't think false DMCAing is the route to go. I think that's a very difficult position to defend against. And if you want to support that argument by saying that when the entire system is against you and people are trying to deplatform you, the route to go is, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it, sinking to their level and reporting them right back. I don't know that I would want to do that.
Well, I mean, from my point of view, it's life or death, dude. You're being swatted. They're doing the like false DMCAing as opposed to swatting. You think that that's a big deal as opposed to the swatting that they're doing? I wouldn't
Well,
say
who's
that's
doing the
stooping
swatting? I think
down
that's
to
a
their
separate
level.
discussion because I don't.
I would say that there is association with Matakar and the swatting thing. I would say there's some connections there.
There
Again,
was
I
a
don't.
lot of speculation that it was just leftists and trannies and whoever. Really, I think to
No,
really
I think
place.
Matakar was associated with it. I think there is some stuff going on behind the scenes with him and some people. I could be mistaken. I don't.
Well,
I don't know.
don't you think that purporting that that hypothesis is somewhat slanderous? I mean, what are you going based off of? You know, you've
I
said
watched the
consistently.
debate.
Excuse me. You've said consistently throughout our discussion right now that my original post was slanderous. I don't think so. Actually, I think it's very reasonable.
Your post
and grounded. Yeah, the one in the Kai Clips Discord that everyone screenshotted and posted everywhere. I don't think it was slanderous at all.
I would say slanderous. You indirectly stated that Nick was becoming gay because joking about being homosexual is the first step to becoming homosexual. So.
Well, I maintain that position. I think that the slippery slope is indeed real, and I don't think that you should be really affiliating with any of that.
But this is also the guy that you support to lead the America First cause. Like, do you listen to yourself for a second? Like, you're
I do listen to myself, and I know what's coming out of my mouth, and I think that what's coming out of my mouth is genuine, healthy critique that seeks to keep America First completely guided.
You think he's going to become gay
victorious
by making more gay jokes? Like, that's like, what are you talking about? No, there's no slippery slope with him. Maybe for society, not with jokes, but like, yeah, but for like a person to make jokes as like a slippery slope becoming gay, like, no. That happens in your youth. That doesn't just happen like you just turned 20 and it's like, oh shit, I like men now. Like, no, that doesn't happen. Also, you also said.
I think that's a bit of a. Is it really all that difficult to argue against? Because let me simplify it, because I don't want to go on another tangent. Yeah, I wouldn't want my kids to be making gay jokes. I don't think that that's overall beneficial. I don't think that's really all that constructive to the self. I don't. And I would hope that, okay, but I just don't think it's the right thing to do.
Okay. Well, welcome to Gen Z, first of all. Second of all, I mean, for Nick, it's constructive. For, I don't know, a 11-year-old kid be going around saying, like, you know, oh yeah, I like maybe not, but that's totally different. I don't want to go back to number one, but you kind of just said you weren't being slanderous. I would say that's slanderous. There's no concrete evidence to suggest that Nick is leaning towards becoming gay or is gay or anything like that, and you're saying otherwise. But back to my original statement.
I believe I'm literally quoted within this talk as to saying I don't think Nick is gay. Is joking about being homosexual beneficial to what America First is trying to accomplish? Do you think it is?
I already said how it is. I said how it could be. Yeah, I said it's a shit on e-thoughts and e-girls, and because they're all empowered and think that they're this hot shit can get any man, and it's like, you know, when you joke about preferring men over women or something, it's like, you know, it screws with them. It's kind of a tactic.
I remember your assertion, but I mean, if you're gonna defer to that, I would just disagree. Honestly, I don't think that you need to resort to gay jokes in order to fight back against e-thoughts or just women in general.
What about asexual jokes?
Well, hold on, I was in the middle of a point. Anyway, okay. As I was literally just in the last sentence. I think ignoring them is fairly effective, but. As far as your question, you said asexual jokes?
Yeah, asexual jokes.
Just as far as, I mean, wouldn't ignoring women kind of somewhat imply that?
Ignoring women imply that you're asexual, or?
Well, I mean, you need a woman to reproduce, so yes, perhaps.
But if women, okay,
that feels a little irrelevant, is my point.
No, because if women become extremely overpowered, like they develop this very egotistical mindset, the only way to destroy that mindset is by not giving in to them. Because in their minds, they're thinking like, we're going to give in no matter what. I mean, look at society. Literally, society is saying that if you have sex, then you're at a higher level. You're like an elite class male. Okay? And to do that, you need a woman to do that, right? The tactic is to destroy that mindset so that, you know, these e-girls, all these women advertising themselves online and being total, you know, prostitutes, whatever you want to call it. It's supposed to destroy that mindset.
I mean, so it's essentially prostitution because OnlyFans is so prevalent.
Let me finish. So obviously, okay, none of us are unironically gay or whatever, but it messes with them when you joke about that, and I would say it's a constructive way of de-establishing their ego. And there's 1,000 other ways to do it, but that's another way to do it. Plus, as I keep repeating myself over and over again, I mean, it's just a joke. It's funny, and it's funny because no one here is actually gay, but I don't know. Like I said, when I was younger, it was kind of a way to see if someone was actually gay, because if we were joking and someone wasn't laughing and they were like acting awkward or something, like it was kind of an indicator that they were probably like actually gay. I don't know, but I mean, let's move on from this because we're going back in circles, and I only have 20 minutes. I want to move on to the next one. That's fine with you, all right?
Sure. I was just going to say I agree with you. I literally was just interrupting to agree with you that, yeah, women are rather out of control. OnlyFans is so prevalent, so they really might as well just be prostitutes right now. Yeah. You can go ahead and say that it's a joke, and it's just to go ahead and put an end to the talk so we can move on. If it's a joke, I mean, I'm just not. I don't need to laugh at it, and I just won't laugh at it.
Yeah, you don't have to laugh at it. It's not 1984, but the issue isn't that you have to have to agree with Nick. I am a little sick. So I do have.
No, I understand. I understand.
Issues. Anyways, so the issue isn't that you have to like be 100% and lopstick behind Nick. The issue is when you become, critical of Nick in a way that's public and slanderous, and kind of in a way that comes off as like, opposition, if that makes any sense. But you don't have to agree with Nick's or laugh at Nick's jokes or anything like that. I mean, understandably, if you are uncomfortable with it, then, I mean, that's on you. But I've never, I don't know. I've never saw it like that. I've always seen it as like, oh yeah, like, I don't know.
No,
it's just shit posting, dude. It's just shit posting. I think people think that you're a boomer because you don't. I don't know if you. And if you're autistic, it's fine. And I'm not saying you are, but like, I mean, whatever it is, I mean, it's just shit posting. It's just shit you post that comes out of nowhere that's funny. You know what I mean? And I mean that's also kind of part of it. You're just getting a laugh. You're kind of just posting whatever is funny, and so it's not. It doesn't have to be that deep either. But I mean, I know if you don't understand it, it's fine. But from a Zoomer point of view, because I'm 19, from my point of view as a Zoomer, I mean that's just our culture. That's just how the Gen Z culture kind of is. Our society is so broken that normal humor that boomers would laugh at, we can't laugh at because society is so screwed up. We have to kind of be more creative these days to laugh at something because society, as Nick Fuentes said in that BBC documentary, society is broken. Things that should be funny aren't funny. Things that should work aren't working. Nothing is working. And so as Zoomers, you have to be more creative with humor. So again, I could give 1,000 reasons in how what Nick says isn't gay. I'm not going to because it's kind of a waste of my time, and I feel like 2 points is good enough to kind of justify how, how it's just shit posting and a bunch of other stuff. But, so.
Well, hold on. Do I get to respond to that?
Yeah, if you want to respond to that, that's fine.
Sure. I'll try and keep it quick. I completely get the plight of the Zoomer. Okay. For a while, I was rather critical. I don't know if I said my age earlier. I'm the same age as Nick. All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, growing up, I'm not really sure where they really drew the line for where millennials ended and Gen Z began. Nick considers himself a Zoomer, so I suppose I have to as well because I am 23 also. And yeah, Zoomers have it really rough. It's a really tough thing that they're thrust into. They're growing up during the destruction of their country. But I suppose I just subscribe to the perspective that instead of resorting to self-deprecating humor, you should be building yourself up and being your strongest self. I consistently advocate for people to be of strength and to just be overall strong. Nick, I didn't throw this within any of my critiques, the 5 points. He is somewhat against working out, but then he said that you should go ahead and work out, just don't let it consume you.
Yeah,
I think exercise is very important. You absolutely know that there is absolutely scientific backing to just suggest that exercising and continue to exercise is beneficial for your physical body, your psyche, and everything else. You shouldn't be. And I want strong Groypers. I would rather a strong Groyper army. I would rather have that than whatever the opposite would be against what we're up against, because things are only realistically going to get worse as the years go by. I think it's very likely that Biden is going to get reelected, whether or not it's because of just the increase in number of fools or illegal immigration coming in, or if they decide to rig it again. But the last point that I would talk about, the homosexual jokes, whatever, I just wouldn't defer to that as a defense.
Yeah, we can just move on
women.
from that.
Yeah, sure, but I just wouldn't. Yeah.
We've established that 50 times.
All right, yeah, but you keep saying that I'm slandering and that my post was shit posting. It's not. It's legitimate criticism.
I didn't say you were shit posting. I was saying.
Well, okay. If you brought up it seems like shit posting, then you're indirectly calling it shit posting, and it's not. That's disingenuous.
What, the homosexuality catboy channel shit is not shit
No,
posting?
I wasn't even.
What are you referring to then? Because I am completely off track. I'm trying to move on. We're still back on, the first question here. I've got like 15 minutes.
The fact of the matter, sure, I really don't want to get into this tangent, but I guess the fact of the matter is Nick was in a Discord server with really people who were underage, and he posted, or not him, but someone, for jokes, incentivized people to post catboys, and in that, cropped porn was posted. How is that Christian? How is that conservative? How is that America First?
I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know the full context, but had I known the context, I could provide you a better argument. But as I do know, in 2022, Groypers love to shitpost, and typically these things are things I mean, if they're posting straight up like porn with like genitalia, okay, like fair enough. There's a boundary to be drawn, but like I said, I don't know the full context. I don't really care. Maybe it happened in Nick's server, but whatever this bullshit is, but it doesn't seem like he was directly involved in the posting or anything aside from like one or two joking statements about liking catboys or whatever. Anyway, let's move on to the next one because, Anyway, so, you said you hate how Nick is super ironic. Well, I'm kind of breaking that down, but your exact statement was with Nick, almost every other thing is said ironically, and it gets tiresome, and it becomes hard, and to take him legitimately seriously, and I try. Well, what's that all about?
No worries, I have the screenshot here, so I was reading that verbatim as well. I really don't want to make it seem like I'm counter-signaling against Nick I don't know when he made the Hitler joke, the Hitler ball, he made it during his show. That was funny as shit, though. I don't know if you know exactly which stream I'm referring to. Yeah, he is. I mean, I would say point number 5 as far as him not being funny is probably my weakest point, because he is a funny as shit dude. I laugh all the time in his shows. But he does seem to have a problem with irony and using it as a defense mechanism to try and deter criticism. But I am aware of one stream he made in which he emphasized why irony is used to really, I suppose, he said how Muslims engage in taqiyya, which is just straight up lying. That way they can infiltrate and then spread their politics. If you're aware. Yeah, I see the merit in that. However, I think that makes him a little bit harder to advertise around, because then you're getting into the politics of convincing the median voter that Nick is the guy. And
yeah, he is the guy.
Yeah, well, whether you like it or not, in 2022, not everyone within the United States likes Hitler. Me personally, I thought that Hitler ball joke was fucking hilarious. I was laughing my ass off. And that's why I'm not really, I'm bringing it up, but I'm not using it as the primary argument against his use of irony. I suppose what I'm getting at to wrap up this point is that because of his heavy use of irony, it can be hard to really spread him to people and have them be convinced of his politics. And I just need to throw this out
boomers
here.
maybe and like Gen Xers, but millennials and like even millennials get most of these jokes, and Zoomers and Gen Alpha. Well, I don't know. Gen Alpha's like middle school, so actually never mind. Anyway, everyone that I've talked to within 20 years of older of me understands these jokes fine. And unless you're like a boomer or unless you have like low functioning autism, to me it's pretty easy to understand. I mean, honestly, I know I have mentioned autism twice. I mean, like a good portion of the groupers have autism, and they understand the jokes perfectly fine. Like it doesn't take much to understand. And if you're trying to say it's an optics issue that he's making these jokes, and it's like you aren't really sure, I mean, honestly, when I watch a show, there's a lot of monologues, a lot of seriousness, and you have to realize that comedy is a lot more powerful than being serious 24/7. You're not gonna come off as charismatic if you're like monotone for an entire show. That gets boring. Not that I wouldn't enjoy that. I mean, Nick is so charismatic he could probably be in any mood, and I wouldn't care. But I mean, obviously, you wanna have comedy to try and add more spice to that makes any sense. Someone that's funny, someone that has good, positive energy, that sort of thing is going to be more attractive, politically speaking, than someone that's constantly being serious. And I disagree with the cringe statement that the quote-unquote unfunniness must be punished or whatever. I don't think there needs
to that point, actually.
Screw that point.
There was. Well, no, I mean, it's still relevant because just the other day, Nick, someone sent in, not me, and any of the criticism that I'm somehow butthurt over my super chats. No, I'm just not. But someone sent in a super chat making a Joker reference, and I mean, a significant portion of Nick's appeal is that he likens himself to Joker and really identifies with that. But then he really flips the script and says, "Oh, haha, Joker reference. That's funny." I think he mentioned, that like something about it being 3 years ago when it came out. Just mentioning, like that's a 3-year-old joke. That seems really out of left field, especially coming from Nick. And perhaps that even actually supports my fifth point. But as I've said, my fifth point is probably the weakest. But with regard to irony, I think you touched on a really important point. And this is a part, I suppose, where I would implore that we change the debate more to a discussion as far as irony, how it should be used. And I get the importance of humor. I get it. That's why SNL and stand-up and late-night comedy shows that always talk about politics. That's why they're so effective.
Yeah, BoomerCon. Okay.
But as far as my point being cringe, any of it being slanderous, I mean, Nick literally roasted a super chat that was essentially a Joker joke. So now I'm wondering, are the Joker references done, or he's probably still gonna make more jokes. And I honestly found the Joker stuff really funny as shit. But I don't know. Maybe the overall point as far as that, and to tie it in with irony, a lot of people can be left just scratching their heads, and I don't think that really being a little bit confused by that is indicative of low-functioning autism like you purport.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying that, I mean, the stereotype that people with autism apparently can't understand jokes or whatever, and I'm saying that and you said that Nick's humor is like hard to understand sometimes, and it can be unattractive because people won't get what he's saying, whatever that is all about. Also, yeah, when a joke is overdone 100 times, it becomes unfunny because it's unoriginal. Usually something that's funny becomes unfunny over time because, I mean, it gets boring. So, I mean, yeah, obviously if someone makes a joke about the Joker and it's like 3 years later after the Joker came out, it's like, I'm not surprised it got shut down. Comedy has to be original to be funny typically anyways.
But during the Medicare debate, was he not?
Well, it depends.
Wait, did my mic cut out?
Yeah, but I heard what you said.
Sure, okay.
Well, no, I didn't say the Joker. I said what I meant to say really was that something that's unoriginal. If there's an unoriginal joke being made 1,000 times over, and it becomes unfunny, it's unfunny. You know what I mean? And if someone gets roasted,
I do.
if someone gets roasted for doing that, then that's on them for not being funny. I mean, it's Nick's show. If Nick doesn't find it funny, and I mean, super chat people write stuff to try and appeal to Nick. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I mean, either way, it's still funny. Even if Nick isn't laughing, sometimes his reactions are funny to something that someone posts. I remember I clipped this one super chatter who wrote like to ask Nick to write a letter to Donald Trump asking to take his show back on YouTube, and Nick's reaction was just priceless. Like, I mean, it was just hysterical, even though like the actual super chat wasn't funny. Like, to me, this is all very common sense. But I have one more point I want to make, and then we can be done with this because there's not really much else to address with you. Like I said earlier, prior to the debate, I mean, I don't mean this in a rude way either. You're not the most relevant person, and which leads me on to my next statement, which is you said earlier that you don't want to start a schism, but in the screenshot at the very bottom, it says that's my Martin Luther moment, and I'm sticking with it. Which is also funny because you also several times in this debate how you like you regret saying certain things or you didn't mean to say this or say that. But anyway, what's your response to that? Considering you're saying you're not doing a schism, but it kind of sounds like you're trying to. So
no worries. I definitely understand how that could come across. That was actually more of a comment because many times Nick actually will roast on Protestantism. And I'm not Protestant, actually, I'm Catholic. So that was more of a self-deprecating joke, saying, "Oh, that's my Martin Luther moment, my cringe moment," but I'm sticking with it. And I'm still essentially it was saying I'm sticking with the points, not really making too big a deal. I don't think I'm significant enough within America First to even have followers or fans or whatever. I literally just clip them, and I don't even have a channel.
You're a clipper.
I had a channel. Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that's necessarily warranting having fans. It's really just me. I mean, it's Nick's content. You know, I've had my clips posted on, what's the site, BitChute?
Yeah.
And I was a little bit, I suppose, salty a bit, thinking, oh, hey, I made that clip. But I recognize that, well, in the end, it's not my content. It's Nick's face, it's Nick's rhetoric, it's his commentary. So whatever. I'm actually okay with it because it's furthering America First. I think the more eyeballs that see his clips, I think the more effective we can be. That's why I'm so persistent on YouTube, just because I think it is an underrated, well, maybe not underrated. It is an important platform to still be on, regardless of how often we are removed from it. But so with regards to the Martin Luther moment, it wasn't me saying, "Hey, everybody, come this way." No, it just wasn't. That was more self-deprecating humor because he roasts Protestants a lot. So that was more of a reference to that.
Okay, interesting. Well, so before we end this off, all I'm going to say is that right now, you look like you're trying to do another CWC RPG thing. And if your intentions aren't to do that, then you have yet to be vindicated. And personally, I thought you were going to do that in this debate and come out and I don't know. I mean, you kind of did, but like I can't really make proper judgment of your character. You know what I mean? I've only known you for this day and last night we spoke, and I think we spoke before then once or twice. So I can't properly judge whether that's a 100% honest statement that you that you don't actually like you want to countersignal Nick or whatever, but it comes off that way to everyone else, and you're in a pretty bad position. And this debate, up to the people that watch this debate, will judge either you look worse or better from this. And I mean, that's up to you. If you want to be in the movement, if you want to be, a griper and whatever else, you have to kind of assimilate. You kind of have to adapt to how things are. And like I said, if you have criticism that's productive, I mean, that's one thing. But when you post, I'm countersignaling Nick for the following reasons, you give this whole list, and then you make some funny, haha, it's my Martin Luther moment. Like, no shit, people are going to rise up and start shitting on you. So, like I said, I honestly can't judge you properly. I can't say whether, well, obviously, that screenshot makes you look really guilty, and I stand by that. So I would say you're guilty. But whether you can adapt or return from that is up to you. Um, so, and I'd encourage you to do so. I have a good friend, his name is Base Palpatine, and he didn't really do anything anti-Nick, anti-AF, but he used to get shit on a lot because his like dress code during a rally was like poor taste or whatever the narrative was, and he got shit on really badly. And he came back from it and became like a Groiper colonel and kind of like rose up and I don't know, gained a lot of influence, and he came out of it. And you can do the very same if you try, but like I said, that's on you. I can't help you do that. Not very many people can kind of assist that. That's on you to kind of figure out. And to me, it just seems kind of like wishy-washy. I don't know if I'd say that you're doing this for attention or if you're just, trying to get out there. Well, maybe not, but like I said, I don't know you enough to kind of make a fair judgment. But that's kind of how it looks from here. But for the most part, I enjoyed this debate. For one of my first AF debates, anyway. I mean, I've debated in the past, but nothing like public like this. And I look forward to debating more people just like you. Try and turn people from their ways. Bring them back to the good side, the gripers and whatnot. Would be great. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, that's kind of all I have in regards to this whole situation and in regards to your statements, which I've already made my points. I'm not gonna readdress it, um, but yeah, that's my take on all of it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for hosting this. So I thought it was pretty amicable. I don't think we really got too nasty or whatever. Just not even a last point, but just kind of to wrap up my position.
Sure.
People often say, people are concerned trolling. I'm really not trolling, honestly. I'll send in a joke super chat every now and then, but that's because he's a funny person and he can shred a super chatter. And one time I was actually offering sincerity. I was saying I regret being a non-virgin, and I clipped this too. I wanted to clip it, but I didn't because people would say that I'm clout chasing, which I'm really not. At the end of the day, I live in California. I pay way too much for gas.
Who said
way too much. I'm sorry?
You said that someone said they regret being a non-virgin or whatever. Who are you referring to?
Me.
Oh, yourself. Okay.
Yeah, but to wrap it up, oh shoot, what was I saying? Yes, I'm not clout chasing. At the end of the day, I pay a lot in taxes, and it sucks. And I've said multiple times in this debate that Nick Fuentes and America First are the best remedy to maybe not all, but a lot, if not all, of America's current ails. It's certainly preferable than having perhaps even Trump in the White House. But I like Trump. I voted Trump in 2016. I wanted him to get reelected, but he just didn't. And whether or not that was because of fraud or because there was just too many illegal immigrants here, I don't know. But I'm inclined to believe that there was election fraud. I hope that me saying this doesn't actually jeopardize your channel, because I got a strike once for election misinformation. But as far as the backlash I receive, as far as the criticism I get from this, I really don't care what people say about me. I'm going to continue clipping him. I'm going to continue uploading. I just think it's beneficial, and it's in my best interest to do so. I'm really not. As far as the post, maybe countersignaling was the wrong word, because that has a whole host of other implications. But I don't think I'm concerned trolling. I think that the criticisms I have will make Nick stronger and make America First grow, because I think that having Cozy and America First grow is in my best interest, just flat out. So thank you for having me on here. I do appreciate it.
All right. Well, yeah, it was good having you on here. Any final words before, I guess, I take the spotlight?
No worries. I don't even know if I want to plug in my channel, because there's a high likelihood it'll get deleted again.
All right. Well, it was good having you on here for the Ghost, for the Not the Cameras. I look forward to talking to you again in the future. Maybe not in a debate, but it's good having you on, and good luck. Like I said, hopefully you maintain your faith, your loyalty in AF and in Nick Fuentes, and hopefully you come out of this and redeem yourself, and yeah, that's all I have for you. So I'm going to take the spotlight, and you have a good rest of your day.
Thanks a lot.
All right. All right. Uh, thanks for watching, guys. This is Aleczaender, Resumer Content, and we will see you guys whenever. I know I haven't posted in a while, probably in the past 4 or 5 months, but content is rolling out. If you want me to moderate any debates, do a debate, or I mean anything for content, I'll look into it and I'll do it. So you guys take care, and we'll see you guys next time.